Hello everybody, today our class is about ambiguity. Last Sunday we saw that knowing whether a sentence is ambiguous or not is one of the aspects of showing or demonstrating semantic knowledge in daily life conversations. We talked about other aspects like synonymy, antonymy, presupposition, entailment, etc. Now today we're gonna go more in depth into ambiguity as an aspect of demonstrating semantic knowledge, and we will talk about its main types. Now, what is ambiguity? Ambiguity arises when a single word or a string of words is associated in the language system with more than one meaning or interpretation. So simply, this means that a sentence can be interpreted in different ways. We have different types of ambiguity. The first type is called lexical or semantic ambiguity, and it refers to cases where words have multiple meanings. Consider the following example. I saw a bat. Here, a bat could mean a flying mammal, خفاش, or a wooden club, مضرب. Another example is the fisherman went to the bank. The word bank has lexical ambiguity because it has two meanings. The first one is river bank, the second one is the organization or where people go to deposit or withdraw money. Now, this type of ambiguity is often very easy to detect by simple linguistic reflection, especially when the meanings are very distinct from each other, like in the case of bank or in the case of bat. We have an animal and then we have a wooden club. Two totally different meanings. The second type of ambiguity is called structural or syntactic ambiguity, and it refers to the situation where a sentence or a phrase, a sentence may have different meanings because of a phrase, or words of a sentence are related to each other in various ways, even though each word is clear. So the meaning of individual words is clear. They don't have multiple meanings. The ambiguity arises because of a certain phrase and how it is connected to other parts of that sentence. Yes, so this is just a repetition. It is attributed to the fact that a sentence or a phrase has two distinct syntactic structures, each of which gives rise to a different interpretation. Let's make this clear. Example. He looked at the dog with one eye. The phrase that creates the ambiguity is the prepositional phrase with one eye. Now, if this phrase is attached to the noun phrase the dog, then the sentence means that the dog itself has one eye. Now, if this prepositional phrase with one eye is attached to is part of the verb phrase itself, the VP, then the sentence would mean that the subject, he, looked at the dog using only one eye. Now, structural ambiguity can be illustrated with a tree diagram as follows. If you look at the prepositional phrase with one eye, you would see that it is part of the noun phrase. Directly above it there is the noun phrase the dog. So this means that the dog has one eye. In the second interpretation, you will see that the prepositional phrase with one eye is part of the VP. And this means that the interpretation of this sentence is that the subject, he, looked at the dog using only one eye. How can we distinguish between structural and lexical ambiguity? It's very simple. All the words in structural ambiguity cases, they are clear on their own. So we don't have a word that has multiple meanings. We have a phrase, like a prepositional phrase, which is connected to different parts of the sentence, and that creates the ambiguity. In lexical ambiguity, the meaning of certain words is not clear, like bat, like bank, and that creates the ambiguity. The last type is called scope ambiguity, and it arises when the interpretation of a specific expression depends on another one in a very important way. Now, to be more accurate, there is no ambiguity in single words like lexical ambiguity, or the surface structure like syntactic ambiguity. We have a scope, semantic scope, that is not definite. Why? Because we have other elements in the sentence that causes that scope to be indefinite. That element could be a quantifier or a negation. Consider the following example. We have every student speaks 2 languages. Here we have scope ambiguity because we have the quantifier every, and every creates the ambiguity. How? It gives us 2 interpretations. The first one, if you take any one of the students, you will find that that student is able to speak 2 languages. But these 2 languages, they are not necessarily the same in each case. The second interpretation is that there are 2 languages, specific languages like Spanish and English, and these 2 languages are spoken by every student. We will get back to scope ambiguity when we start discussing logical semantics. Now, based on this video, please do exercise 1 and upload your answers on the e-learning platform. Thank you.